Bust it up, you heard me?
Shalom, family. This is yet again your boy, Jonathan Hebrew Prince. And I must say, this is a beautiful day. This is a day that Yahuwah has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it, for his love, his patience, his kindness endureth to all generations. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Coming to you this morning with some information that I pray will bless your heart. I pray that it would open up your hearts and mind. And the name of this segment will be the first segment of Bust It Up, You Heard Me. And the reason why I named it that is because when you're dealing with busting things up, you have to ask yourself, what are we busting up? And I have it right here for you on the screen, coming right off of the page, off of my channel rather, the Jonathan Hebrew Prince channel. And it says, and I want to read it to you, it says, the purpose of this channel is to intellectually, philosophically, psychologically, and spiritually combat the social, mental, and emotional bondage that the powers that be have inflicted on the masses. This channel is for the truth seeker, the freedom fighter, the spiritual warrior, and seeker of righteousness. Family, that's what we're trying to bust up right now. We're trying to bust up these lies. We're trying to bust up these myths. We're trying to bust up this foolishness that's been fed to us and making us think that we're something we're not. And this is to everybody. This is to the entire, to all nations rather, on the earth. If you are a truth seeker, a freedom fighter, spiritual warrior, a seeker of righteousness, then this is for you. So these segments called Busted Up, You Heard Me, will be centered around just that, busting up all of these lies. So starting off today's one, in this video, these videos are going to be quick. 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes at the max. Something that you can hear, get to real quick, get some spiritual edification or some true information, and then we're going to close it out and we're just going to go ahead on with our day. So with that said, let's go ahead on and let's start it out. Now, what this one will be specifically called is the so-called Negro ain't no African. I tell you again, the so-called Negro ain't no African. And as I told you before in my first vid that I did, sometimes I'm going to keep it raw. Sometimes it's going to be uncut. Sometimes I'm going to try to be eloquent. Other times I'm just going to talk the way I feel like talking. And this morning is one of those moments I just feel like talking the way I want to talk. So subject and verse may not agree. And if that's a problem, I'm sorry. You may need to go to the next channel. But for those of you that don't mind the way I'm talking right now, and I don't have to be absolutely correct with not using double negatives and saying words like ain't, then let's go ahead on and knock this monkey out. So dealing with the aspect that the so-called Negro, the so-called black, the so-called African American is not African, I want to show you that. And the way that's going to happen this morning is going to come first of all from this work that you see on the screen. Once again, these are not my words. This is due to research. This is due to simple research. I'm not no theologian. I'm not no philosopher. I'm just little old me. Like I said, that's why I took my face off the screen. I just want you to get the message. Don't worry about the messenger. Just get the message. Okay? So now let's take a look at this real quick. The so-called African American, the so-called black, the so-called Negro ain't no African. And I'm going to prove that this morning. Now, coming from this right here to the left-hand part of the screen, it's called the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Within this dictionary has a definition of, if you go to the middle screen, of ham. And we're going to read about ham and what it says. Now, on page 213, as you can see at the top right here, 213 of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, we have a definition of ham. And let's read what it says. It says this. Number 1, the youngest son of Noah. So now we know we're dealing with one of the sons of Noah. So this is right out the scripture, okay? That we're defining the individual that made it through the flood, one of Noah's sons. Remember, Noah was righteous, and he was righteous before the Most High so much that the Most High, he flooded the earth, because of sin and because of idolatry and wickedness. But he preserved Noah to start something afresh with Noah, dealing with man. He had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And what we're taught in the Christian church, remember, this is about busting it up. In the Christian church, we're the so-called African American, the so-called black, the so-called Negro is taught 2 things. One, that the so-called black, the so-called African American, the so-called Negro is from the lineage of Ham. And they call it the cursed lineage of Ham. That we are cursed as a people because we fall under Ham. And then we're going to get into that. Remember what happened with Ham's son, Canaan. Canaan was cursed. One of Ham's children, because of what Ham did. Ham saw that his father was drunk. And instead of him covering his father and helping his father, he went and told his brothers. His brothers walked into the where his father was, Noah. They walked in with backwards so that they couldn't see the nakedness of their father, and they had a sheet and they laid it on their father. Ham didn't do that. So when Noah came back to his senses, he cursed Ham. He cursed not Ham, but he cursed Canaan, one of Ham's children, for what Ham had done. Well, the so-called African American, the so-called Negro, the so-called black is taught that we are from the cursed lineage, and that's why we're going through what we're going through as a people across the entire earth. But we're going to prove wrong. We're going to prove that wrong today. Because I'm talking to you, my so-called black, my so-called African American, my so-called Negro. You not a cursed people. We're not a cursed people. We are actually a people that's blessed of the Most High, but because of our disobedience, we stand in the state that we in. And the only way we're going to get out of this foolishness is that we're going to have to turn back to the Most High and back to his laws and get right before him. And until we do that, we will continue to feel the repercussions of the curses that's been put up on us from the Most High because of our disobedience. You know what they call that? That's called chastisement. That's what that's called. We're being chastised right now by the Most High, and it's just been for a long time because we still refuse to do that which is right by the Most High. But by no way, shape, or form are that we curse people at all. So that's one thing we busting up this morning. The other aspect is we not no Gentiles. I said it. We not no Gentiles. Double negative. Holla if you hear me. We not no Gentiles. We are of the lineage of Shem. We come from Eber. We come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Out of Ham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We come from the 12 tribes. That's where we come from. We are the nation, the children, the descendants of Yisrael. Yes, we are. And I'm gonna take it one at a time. Right now, the first part of this is just to bust up the myth that we from the so-called cursed lineage of Ham. One thing you're gonna find out is that, first of all, Ham's whole lineage was not cursed. So that would insinuate that all Africans was cursed based upon the way the Christian church put out that information, the cursed lineage of Ham. Well, all of Ham's lineage was not cursed, especially for that event. It was one child in his descendants that come from Ham that was cursed. So let's get into it so I can prove it, and then we're going to move on with our day. Hallelujah. So here we go. Number 1, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood, just like we just talked about. He became the progenitor of the dark races. The progenitor of the dark races. That means the dark races come from Ham, right? All the dark races come from Ham. But look what it says shortly thereafter. It says this, immediately thereafter, rather. It says, right here, check it out. Not the Negroes. Did you get that, family? It said not the Negroes. Now I'm talking to everybody. Once again, this is about what? Truth. This is truth. This is not about racism, prejudice, none of that. We're setting the record straight. If you are a Christian listening to this and you've heard that the so-called black, so-called African American, the so-called Negro comes from the so-called cursed lineage of Ham, I'm sorry. But right here out of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, which a lot of these ministers use, is right here and says, not the Negro. So we don't come from Ham. The so-called Negro does not come from Ham. It says it right here. And to let you know that this thing is being specific on who it's talking about, look what it says. It says, but. That's letting you know, I'm going to let you know who comes from Ham. It says what? The Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites, coming from Genesis chapter 10, 6 through 20. And that chapter is what I've come to learn is called the Table of Nations. So it breaks down the Table of Nations in that chapter. It's a good read. A lot of names. Go look up the names, what they mean, where they went, and how they populated the earth. It's a very good chapter to read. And it's telling you from that the Negro, although we are dark people, copper colored people, ruddy people, some of us, we do not come from Ham at all. Let's keep reading. It says, his indecency, you see it right here, when his father lay drunken, like we talked about, brought a curse upon Canaan. Now you got to go read about Ham's lineage. He had a whole bunch of children. He was getting it in. He was populating. But one of his children got cursed for this, and that was Canaan. It was not his entire lineage. So to my so-called African brothers out there, because you're not African, you have another name, you have a tribe that you belong to. You wasn't called Africans the whole time, so that's wrong as well. But for the sake of this conversation, the so-called byword of Africans, my so-called African individuals that's out there, you ain't cursed either, unless you come from Canaan. Then that's a different story, and we could deal with that. But the whole African nation, on nations that are from that deal with the African peoples, all of them ain't cursed either. So yet again, we busting that up. We busting it up this morning. Let's keep reading. Okay, his indecency when his father lay drunk and brought a curse upon Canaan, and that's Genesis chapter 9, 20 through 27. We're dealing also now. We're on page 214. Right here, let me show you the top of the screen to make sure that you see that we're still in the same book. Bam, 214 right there. Now let's keep reading. It says number 2, city east of the Jordan. Genesis 14:5. Number 3, the descendants of the original Ham. Right? Psalm 78:51, 105:23, 106:22. In these passages, Ham is used as another name for Egypt, or in this proper Hebrew term, Mitzrayim, as representing Ham's principal descendants. Okay, that's the full definition of Ham, in accordance with the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. And let's go back and let's make sure we reiterate one more thing. Ham, he became the progenitor of the dark races. He's the father of the dark races. But not, right here, let's look at it. Not, see that word not? Let's highlight this one. Let's go to the last one. Negroes. Not the Negroes, family. Not the Negroes. Okay? So like that's pretty much the end of this segment of Busted Up. You heard me. The so-called Negro ain't no African. So anybody come to you talking about the so-called Negro, the so-called African American, the so-called black is African, I'm sorry, but we not from the lineage of the African, the one that is the progenitor of the African, which is Ham. I hope that this edified you in some way. This is the first segment of busting up these lies, because what are we about, family? What are we about? The purpose of this channel is to intellectually, philosophically, psychologically, and spiritually combat the social, mental, and emotional bondage that the powers that be have inflicted on the masses. This channel is for the truth seeker. Listen, there's no color on truth. There's no color on truth, family. If you want the truth, then the truth will be in your face. If you reach up for it, it will reach back and grab you out of the abyss of lies and untruths. It will come and get you, and it will set you free. It will truly liberate you. If you're a freedom fighter, right, as it says right here, freedom fighter, if you're a spiritual warrior and a seeker of righteousness, then guess what? This is for you this morning. I hope it edify you, because I'm telling you, no matter what nation you are, it's about time that we set the record straight on who the so-called black, the so-called African American, the so-called Negro is. We are constantly being marginalized and minimalized and being deprived. The United Nations, and I wish I could pull it up right quick, but the United Nations just came out and said that the United States treat us horribly. The United Nations just said that. Bet you don't see that plastered all over the news. So if you're a truth seeker, a freedom fighter, spiritual warrior, and a seeker of righteousness, then accept this information that you just read about out of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Today, yet again, family, I love you. And all I want is truth to be propagated to the masses. I will holler at you at another time as we conclude this segment of Busted Up, You Heard Me. Holler at your boy. I love you. Shalom.